what it means and what comes next. Congressman Andy Biggs joins us. He's Arizona's 5th Congressional District member, and he's on the Judiciary and House Oversight committees. He joins us now. Hello, Congressman. Good to have you with us.
Hey, Vince. Good to be with you. Thanks for having me.
So I take it you were not surprised by the Hunter Biden pardon, despite the media showing its shocked face this week.
I was not surprised. In fact, about 4 or 5 months ago, I said this. He's going to give Hunter a pardon, and also the only thing that kind of surprised me is he did it a little early, so Hunter can get himself in trouble in the next 6 weeks for sure.
Yeah.
And then the other aspect is, when's brother Jim and wife Dr. Jill going to get their pardons? Because there's a bunch of Biden family members that probably still have some criminal culpability.
I mean, if you push back, so the date that they started with was 2014, the entirety of 2014. They give Joe Biden and company gave Hunter 11 years of immunity from any federal prosecution for anything he may have committed, any crimes he may have committed, including things we don't even know about, which is amazing. 2014. What other Bidens? Is Jim Biden directly implicated in the 2014 timeline?
I think he is. I'm not sure of his exact time, but don't forget he was also getting money was coming into his account, right? And you have the famous, I was just paying back some money to Joe. That was not money he was paying back. It doesn't look like anyway. Mm-hmm. So there was money flowing through his accounts. He was meeting with people as well, and I think he's got some culpability.
Yeah, it sure seems that way. Okay, so what happens now? One of the things I saw Jason Smith say today, Congressman Jason Smith of Ways and Means, is that all of your questions, that is Republicans in Congress who've been trying to get to the bottom of all this, to the United States Department of Justice have been met with the answer, sorry, it's an ongoing investigation, we can't help. But now that Hunter Biden has been given a complete blanket pardon for literally everything, what's the likeliness that the Department of Justice could finally produce some answers for you?
Well, they can't hide behind the investigation, which is a canard anyway. They always hide behind that. So we should get more information from them. They should have to answer truthfully. But don't forget, just because you got a pardon doesn't mean that the investigation ends. And that, Congress can bring him back in, sit him down, put him under oath, and now he can't even take the Fifth Amendment. He's got to sit there and answer our questions, and he better answer truthfully because this is post-pardon.
Can you walk me through that? I've heard quite a few people make that assertion, and I guess we've never seen a pardon that's this expansive that includes all behavior for all of 11 years. He can't be charged with any federal criminal violation whatsoever. So that means that he can't plead the Fifth. There's no basis for that. So let's say he was running afoul potentially of a state crime. Couldn't he plead the Fifth for that reason?
No, he's got really kind of a blanket immunity here, and here's the way to think of it. He's got a blanket pardon. When you are given immunity, there's several kinds of immunity you can receive. You lose that right to say it could incriminate me, and why would you say that? Well, it's because you have immunity. You can't be charged, and that's the way it is with Hunter Biden. He's got this massive immunity, and anything with certainly it's a question on what you're talking about with the states, but anything for sure dealing with the federal issues that we've been dealing with, he can't run and hide from. He would have to answer those. He would have
to, but would there be some sort of penalty if he were to appear before Congress and say, sorry, I'm going to keep my Fifth Amendment rights? Is there some sort of penalty for that? Contempt of Congress, maybe?
Contempt, yeah. I think we move into contempt of Congress, and you get hopefully, we've got we'll have a new AG, and the new AG will say, look, you were given pardon, you don't get the Fifth Amendment, you got to answer the question, and now you chose not to. And Congress has decided to hold you in contempt, and we're going to hold you in contempt. We're going to prosecute that.
I do think, obviously we are interested in finding out the ways in which the Biden family, and so much of it we have discovered, of course, thanks to your work and others, the way that the Biden family has enriched itself through the years. But at what cost to the American people? That's what I want to know. I'm troubled by the extent to which the Biden family has been tied up in Ukraine for so long. And one of the most volatile international situations that we're dealing with right now is Russia and Ukraine. And the Bidens, man, they are so tied in there. Are you concerned about that, Congressman?
Absolutely, and I think that's part of the reason that the investigation has to go on. We have to know what damage they did, the extent of that damage, and we have to know what we can do to prevent that type of thing from happening again. I mean, but don't forget, Vince, we're not just talking about Ukraine, and we all know about this. Burisma, Joe Biden interceding, all of those things. With blackmailing, the president of Ukraine to prevent him from investigating Burisma where his son was. But you also have China and a lot of money moving from China, a lot of benefits and goods, and you have, the vice president who was vice president at the time taking Hunter Biden over on Air Force Two to China. You have relationships with Moscow with lots of money changing hands. You've got three different Middle Eastern countries. You've got Romania. You've got a whole United Nations style of foreign agent issue going on. And what were they giving in exchange for the riches? And that's what we never we can surmise, we can look, and people have told us different things, but this would cause him to actually have to spill his guts.
Congressman Biggs, one of the areas that I've been very concerned about is the role that the CIA has been playing in all of this as it relates to Ukraine and the Bidens. If you go back to the 2020 election, the Hunter Biden laptop saga, the intel community was pressuring the big tech companies to banish all coverage of Hunter Biden's laptop, which they dutifully did. And then we saw that 51 former intelligence letter come out that was organized in part, we now know, by active CIA officials who were signing off on releasing this letter to the public that claimed that the laptop may have been Russian disinformation. Additionally, Hunter Biden's financier, a guy called Kevin Morris, he apparently, Gary Shapley was going to join me this hour, he revealed to Congress that the CIA intervened to stop investigations into Kevin Morris based on and all the money that was flowing to Hunter Biden. Why is the CIA getting involved in all of this?
Well, the intelligence community in and of itself was involved in this, and we suspect that there was some back dealings going on that we could never really fully get a handle on because they stoned us. And they stoned us on the investigation, ongoing investigation, that type of thing. And by the way, Gary Shapley is an incredibly credible person. I mean, he's really good. But the intelligence community was putting its thumb on the scale all over the place to protect the Biden family, and that only happens. I mean, you can surmise this, but it only happens if the intelligence community would be outed and harmed or damaged, because if the Biden family is exposed fully, then the intelligence community is going to be exposed fully. Don't forget, Joe Biden was in charge of the State Department book on Ukraine while Hunter was on Burisma, and money was flowing from Ukraine into the Biden family. So what was the role of the intelligence community? And that has got to be revealed. I mean, how are we ever going to be able to trust our government again unless we get some answers to this stuff?
Well, no question. I mean, Eric Ciaramella, the CIA analyst, the career CIA analyst, he used to work for Joe Biden when he was vice president of the United States, and then he became the, quote, whistleblower that led to the impeachment of Donald Trump. I mean, what is that, Congressman? I do feel like the Hunter Biden saga is only sort of the appetizer. And as much as we've been talking about it, I feel like we've only scratched the surface in terms of what we could possibly know about this.
I agree with you. And I mean, look, we had additional whistleblowers, and we brought them like Jonas, who's in prison now, and he's one of 9 people that went to prison. The 10th person in their deal that didn't go to prison was Hunter Biden. Why was that? Why were 9 of them sent away to prison, but one wasn't? Why? And when you start looking at this and you peel it back and you say, how much corruption do we actually have at our highest levels? And then you throw it in with the notion of weaponization of these institutions against, or these agencies against the American people, and quite frankly, that is why we have to keep peeling it back. The pardon doesn't mean that much to me, except for it's been historic by how the length of time and the breadth, the scope, is just humongous. But what it does do is it gives us a different opportunity to go after and try to open up a different drawer to this massive bureau to try to find out all the facts. We have a lot of facts. We can surmise a lot of things, and we believe that there was corruption there that has got to be revealed.
Hunter Biden also had business partners who have had legal problems of their own. They didn't get pardons. Do you think there's a chance that division could produce, some useful answers for the American people?
I hope so. I mean, if you're Devin Archer, you have to be sitting there saying, I'm in prison. Hunter Biden's not. Jason Galanis, I'm in prison. Hunter Biden's not, which is why Galanis, he says, I got to come clean on all this stuff. How about Devin Archer coming clean on this? How about, I think of Archer's testimony where he says, he took the president of Burisma, Hunter did, and called his father from Dubai. We have a break in testimony. He comes back and says, well, I don't know who he really called.
Right.
Why did you change your testimony? And these are the things that, if you're Devin Archer, or if you're any of these others that were business partners that have been placed under scrutiny and jeopardy, why wouldn't you come clean now?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you come clean now?
Yeah, now's the time. Nobody's looking out for you, so you may as well start looking out for yourself. Congressman Andy Biggs, thank you very much, as always. Good to talk to you. And if we don't talk again before then, please have a very Merry Christmas.